everyone.
Good morning, Miss.
Thank you. Let us extend our praise and gratitude to the loving God for His grace and mercy, because we are still given health to this international conference. I'm very pleased to see you here and welcome all of you to this conference. Our topic of this conference is about leadership strategy for navigating COVID-19. Respectable for our chair lady, Ms. Rini Ade Octaviani, SPD, our presenter, Ms. Agustina Mulyati Esos, and the honorable to all of participants. Well, I will mention the rundown of this conference. This conference is being recorded to be available for viewing post-conference. The first one, let me introduce myself. My name is Winda Siotang. I'm the moderator of this conference. I was graduate from Riau University on chemistry education major. And next we will listen greeting from Ms. Rini Ade Octaviani, SPD, as a chair lady of this conference. And next we will listen the presentation from Ms. Agustina Mulyati Esos. And next we will go into question and answer session. If you have any question for the presenter, please click raise hand button in this Teams meeting. And then I will allow you to speak, but before you ask, you must introduce yourself, your name and your background education. Then you can ask the presenter, and I will give in time to the presenter for answer your question. And the end of question and answer session end, I will take the conclusion from what the speaker presenting. And now we will listen the greeting from Ms. Rini Ade Octaviani, SPD. She was graduate from Syekh Kuala University on chemistry education major. For Ms. Rini Ade, the floor is yours.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thanks to moderator who gave me the opportunity, and thanks God, the master of the universe. Even in pandemic like today, we are still given His favor and this opportunity together at the international conference this morning in good health. First of all, allow me to extend my warmest greeting and welcome to the International Conference on Educational Research and Innovation organized by the State University of Medan, virtually held on September 22nd, 2021, due to the condition of the pandemic COVID-19 that do not allow us to meet face-to-face. Okay, participant of an international conference that we respect, as we know that the government through Presidential Decree number 11 of 2020 has established a public health emergency due to coronavirus disease 2019. In Indonesia, that must be done countermeasure. Measures are needed to prevent and control the potential transmission of COVID-19 in the work environment implemented by all components in the workplace, ranging from workers to the leadership level, and empower all exciting resources. Potential exposure from the general environment, co-workers, and relationship with customers, as well as potential exposure to travel history to and from area infected with COVID-19 disease. The coronavirus pandemic COVID-19 result in sudden change in individual daily life and community activity, bringing tremendous change to all fields. Work from home is really felt heavy for the leader as well as the employees. All lines of society are forced to transform and adapt to this pandemic condition. Much can be done to at least reduce the impact in the field of leadership, namely through leadership strategy to control remotely. Of course, many efforts and challenges faced by both leader and employees. The sudden change of the organizational system that become virtual make it difficult for leaders to overcome benchmark for employee performance achievement. With the problem felt today and referring to the vision of the organization, an international conference was held with the theme leadership in the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, finally, I say a lot thanks to all who have participant and work hard for the success of this activity. And thank you also to the participant and presenter who have joined in succeeding and transferring knowledge in this activity. May this activity be useful to all of us. And okay, thank you, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning.
Thank you, Miss.
Well, thank you so much, Ms. Rini Adi Octaviani for the warm greetings. And now we will listen the presentation from Ms. Agustina Mulyati SS. She's one of the teacher in National Islamic 1 Junior High School in Medan. She was graduate from North Sumatra University on civil administration majors. To Ms. Agustina Mulyati, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much for the moderator, Ms. Winda Sitohang, and for the chairman lady, Ms. Rini Agde Octaviani, for giving me the opportunity. And thanks for all of these participants who were attended here and joined with this conference. So that's to the point. I will try to share you my presentation, because this conference is about the leadership strategy when we face the COVID-19 situation like we're now. Could you see this, my presentation?
Yes,
this presentation?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So this presentation is about leadership strategy for navigating COVID-19. Why, as we know together that many companies which getting collapse and lose because of this pandemic, because the pandemic maybe almost destroy all aspects, not only in the health public aspect, but also in other aspect like economic and the others aspect. So for this, every leader must be think of the right strategy in order how to survive in this pandemic era. Because the unprecedented challenge posed by the COVID-19 pandemic is require strong leadership skill, and nothing exposes our values and character traits like adversity. So during these challenges and fast-changing times, our community teams and other stakeholders and collaborators are looking for strong leadership to guide us through this crisis. Our communities, families, and loved ones, it's our common vision to overcome this health pandemic and return society to normal. So what is the leadership? Well, the leadership is the ability to influence others through character and competence. So this is the two keywords in the leadership. The first keyword is ability to influence. So every leader had to influence others. Through what? Through what? Is through a character and competence. So a leader must have a good character, and also must have a good competence. I'm sorry. All right. So this is a problem with my slide. I can move. Okay. So to be a good leader, you have to become a strategic leader. And how the strategic leader? The strategic leader, you have to think strategically, you have to act strategically, and you have to influence strategically. So this is the element that you have, you must and ought to have in your character and your ability. You have to think strategic, act strategic, and influence others to strategic. So, and how about the pandemic? When this in this pandemic, a leader must be have a strategy to survive in because of the situation and uncertain situation. We never know what will be happen for the future. So the first strategy is how to identify goals. A leader must identify goals and needs that are critical to the organization's mission. For example, you have to prioritization, because the prioritization is critical in this pandemic era. And then you have to make a time of crisis, because the time of crisis may cause conflict among teams. Yeah, maybe there are sometimes a conflict will happen in among the teams. So the leader must effectively manage this dispute of conflict. And then crisis present natural opportunities for teams to put aside differences and work collaboratively toward common goals, but they can also exacerbate existing issues. So as a leader, you must support your teams to collaborate, and you collaborate with your teams effectively. So the next strategy is identify the path to success with open lines of communication. A leader cannot over-communicate during a crisis. All organizational members are facing daily challenges outside of the norm and their comfort zones. It is important for your employees to have an understanding of the current organizational status and a clear vision of what success looks like, particularly as it pertains to new tasks and responsibility. So the leader must communicate effectively. How to communicate effectively? First, you have to communication should be relevant and timely. This communication should be relevant and timely. And then the communication must be focused on inclusion to ensure everyone is seen and heard, but do not unnecessarily take people away from mission critical tasks. So, and the few important considerations for this concept include what are the decision-making parameters and at what level should those be instituted, how much is too much communication, is the message a rivet of information already disseminated, what does your team need to know, and what would they like to know. You have to consider this question and make it collaborate. So the next strategy is engage in crucial conversation, because in this pandemic era, maybe the communication, our communication have a limitation because we can meet each other. So we have to think strategically, and on the crucial conversation must be the leader must have effectively communication, because the conversation can go poorly during an emotional charged crisis that cause fear and anxiety. We are in unprecedented times, and everyone is under pressure. Difficult conversation may not be planned, and the leader may not be able to prepare for the conversation with problems, and it's constantly evolving. It is critical to engage in crucial conversation rather than avoiding them. The strategy for navigating such a conversation include meaningful preparation, anticipate of the other person's viewpoint, practice empathy, validates feelings without condoning inappropriate or unproductive behavior, and then employ physiological techniques. This is include take an intervening pause, take a deep breath, take a break from the conversation, and return it to it later if necessary. So followers expect that desire honesty and transparency and avoiding difficult conversation can erode trust more than it can preserve faith in the organization and leadership. For many, the normal day-to-day hustle has slowed considerably, and if face-to-face meetings are not possibility, use technology to come together and develop more cohesive relationship. The next strategy is be cognizant of everyone's need and how this may affect them differently. Because every member of your team will have their own set of needs, motives, and values, and will respond to crises accordingly. Leaders must be sensitive to the needs and perception of their officer, as this will affect their ability to put forward their best efforts. Past experience and current situation strongly influence behaviors. Consider the following when assigning responsibility and engaging in crucial conversation like, is individual in a stable relationship? Or is individual or someone in their household immune compromised? Does the person have aging parents or other relatives who are considered vulnerable to the circumstance? Is the individual or his or her spouse at risk of losing employment? You have to consider this responsibility. Yeah. This is a crucial conversation. I mean, this is a crucial conversation that you must consider. So the next strategy is use emotional intelligence. A leader attitude during challenging situations can be contagious. It is important for leaders to remember that both verbal and non-verbal communication transmit emotion. Your team's member will act as you act. When a leader demonstrates care, compassion, and concern for the health of every member of their team, their followers will provide the same value to the community they serve. During times of crisis, leaders must effectively reflect on their emotion or self-awareness and manage their emotion as the situation evolves. Beyond personal emotional mastery, a leader must also understand, accept, and empathize with the emotion of their people. So how to use your emotion intelligence? The first thing, you must have a self-awareness, you must have an empathy, and then you have a motivation, have a self-regulation, and the last one is you must have a social skill. And the next strategy is minimize perception of inequality, because fairness will constantly be evaluated by personnel during crisis. So to maintain a perception of equity, communicate decision to organization members proactively, and offer them to opportunity to provide input as much as the situations allow. For example, be mindful of the perception of inquiry officer may have if some are working the front line while others are in a more protected status. A leader could communicate that this decision is not predicated on favorism or other bias towards those working in a more protected status. And the other strategy is collaborate with key stakeholders and establish liaisons group. Because when various inter and external groups are working to navigate the same issues, it is important to take a coordinated approach and operate harmoniously. So you can build the communication and collaboration with the stakeholder in or out your organizations. How to collaborate this? For example, empower your team members by assigning individuals point and contact to collaborate and communicate effective action plan with other key stakeholders. As an example, maybe you can collaborate with several stakeholders in improving teacher competence in IT-based learning, such as Microsoft for training, Google Sheet, and the others device for learning. And the next strategy is empower team members to complete organizational objectives. During times of crisis, there should be an expectation for exemplary followership. This message to team members should be clear Everyone has value and the expression of needs and concern is welcome. The organization is service-oriented entity and community members are reliant upon its efforts. Remind your followers that they too are leaders. Well, because equally is important is the need for your staff to know that once a decision has been made, it must be carried out with support. There's always time for after action critics after the storm has passed. But there are times when order must be given and followed without question. So how to empower the teams? First, you have to create sense of urgency. Then you build a guiding coalition. And then you form strategic vision and initiative. And then you enlist a volunteer army. And then you have to enable action by removing barriers. And then you have to generate short-term wins. And then you have to sustain acceleration. You have to institute change. So this is the element that you must have to do to empower your team members for completing organizational objectives. And the next strategy and the last strategy as a leader is constantly assess your environment and prepare for the future. Because it is hard to predict the future implication of a crisis, because you never know what will be happening in the future. The pandemic is so unpredictable. So for the first step, you have to scan the environment. Then you have to ensure open lines of communication with all stakeholders to begin anticipating future needs and concerns. Then you have to conversation regarding potential outcomes of this crisis. Actively discuss its impact on your agency and community. So just consider additional strategy needed in preparation for that impact. For example, needs for personal protective equipment can be forecast based on available data concerning the infection rate of the virus and the rate of use by our personnel. So I just want to share this, the addition of the strategic leader if we are in a school or in educational organization maybe. As we know together that the aim and goals of the educational system of Indonesia may be just to make a student learning, well-being and achievement and high expectation. So to reach that, you have to build trust. You have to define vision, values and direction. And then the element that you have to fulfill so you can get on reach your goals, maybe you have to improve condition for teaching and learning, then redesigning and enriching the curriculum, then restructuring the organization, redesigning roles and responsibility, enhancing teacher quality, including succession planning, yeah. And then building relationship inside the school community, enhancing teacher and learning. And the last one is building relationship outside the school community. This is the step that you have to fulfill and then you have to do when you are a leader. And in this pandemic era, you have to strategic think and you act strategically, so you become a leader, a good leader, then your organization will be survive in this pandemic era. So maybe that's my presentation for today. If any question or any suggestion, maybe you can ask to the moderator. And now I give it back to the moderator. Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Well, thank you so much, Ms. Agustina Mulyati, for giving us such informative and interesting presentation. Now, come to the question and answer session. As I said before, if you have any question for the presenter, please click raise hand button in this Teams meeting, and then I will allow you to speak. But before you ask the question, you must introduce yourself, your name, and your background education. Then you can ask the presenter, and I will give time to the presenter for answer your questions. So anyone? Okay, Miss Ripka Hernita Sitepu, please.
Morning all. Thanks to the moderators for giving me this opportunity. I am Ripka Hestastepu. I graduated from Pelita Bangsa Mathematics Education. I want to ask the presenter how a leader implements and makes decisions when followers of the organization are not in office. That's all. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Miss Ripka, for the nice questions. May I repeat the question from Miss Ripka? The question is how the leader implement and make decisions when followers of the organization are not in the office. Are you ready, Miss Agustina, to answer the question?
Okay, thank you, moderator, Ms. Winda. But before that, I would like to ask you some question. Does my screen still exist in your computer on your device? Because I have a
Yeah.
oh still so just give me a time for a while to stop my screen share. I forgot how to. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
it's okay, Miss.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. Okay, it's done. There's no
Yeah,
any
it's
screen
Yes,
sharing
Miss.
anymore. Okay, thank you. So, Miss Ripka, your question is about how. Sorry, moderator, can you repeat the question? Just a question.
okay.
Once more,
The
just a
question
question.
from Miss Ripka. How the leader implement and make decision when followers of the organizations are not in the office. Is it clear, Miss?
Okay, thank you. It's so clear now. Uh, how the leader make a decision, even the organization members, all the teams are not in the office because this pandemic make us limited to face to face or meeting with others, with our teams or our members of organization, of course. But maybe you can do this. I have written in my presentation before that if in any problem with if we are cold and we can meet each other, if the face-to-face meeting are not impossibility, maybe we can use the technology to consult together to develop more cohesive relationships. So the technology is so help us. We can use like our use today is Microsoft Teams, like Zoom meetings or Google Meets and any other device or technology that we can use together. So maybe that's my answer for your question, Mrs. Ripka, and I give you back to the moderator.
Well, thank you so much, Miss Agustina, for the answer. Well, Miss Ripka, I hope you're satisfied with Miss Agustina's statement. But if anyone wants to give information and ask again about Miss Agustina's statement, please click raise hand button. Anyone, please? Yes, Miss Aulia Sinaga. Please, Miss Aulia.
Thank you so much, moderator in the data. But first, introduce myself. My name is Sinada. I'm graduated from the University of Quality. Now, I have a question.
Sorry.
My question is how, if there is no network, this, the activity will be carried out by the DX. Can you hear me?
Thank you so much to moderator. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Hilmi Saputri Nasution, origin
Sorry,
University.
Miss Hilmi. Sorry, Miss Hilmi. I think we must giving time to Miss Agustina Mulyati to answer the question from Miss Aulia. Okay? Can you wait, Miss Hilmi?
Thanks
Okay.
so much, moderator. Allow me to introduce myself.
No, Miss Hilmi. I think you must be patient because now Miss Agustina Mulyati want to answer the question from Miss Aulia Sinaga. Okay?
Okay, just take a while, Miss Helmi. I will answer first from the question from the Mrs. Aulia, but moderator, Miss Winda, can you repeat the question because the connection and internet was not unstable, so I can hear it clearly. Just a question.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much. Well, let me repeat the question from Miss Aulia Sinaga. The question is, how if there is no network or facility that support the activities that will be carried out by the leader? So what is the appropriate action for the leader to take? Is it clear for you, Miss?
Yeah, okay, it's so clear now. Thank you, Miss Moderator and Miss Aulia. So the problem is if there is not network, yeah. This is such a good feedback by the question from the Miss Ripka before, who asking about the how the way that we communicate with our team if we can meet each other. So how if we use technology and if the network is unstable. So the problem more are that are not connected in the network, but if you say that the problem, the aim problem is unstable on network or by internet unstable, maybe I do agree with you because it's just the same thing to me now. I do have an unstable network here and maybe cannot clearly hear your voice just now, but the problem is if there's an employee that are really not connected with the internet, with the connection network, maybe you can use another way to communicate with your employee or your teams. Just like first you have to mapping your employee members, is it there really doesn't connect with the network or internet at all, or how? You have to make sure it first, and then you have to make it you mapping the condition, the area of your teams, and then before the work from home running, well, before you make a decision to making everyone must work from home, and maybe you can make some agreement with your teams that consisting of obligation which should be obeyed, so you can make sure that everyone job and tasks has already done it in good ways. And then you have to involve the stakeholders, for example, a provider network, to make sure that everyone area of your employee or staff has on the connected area with the network. So just work in mutualism, symbiosis. I think you can make it happen. So maybe you can contact the closest relatives or the closest their friends, so you can stay connected to your employee. So that's my question. I hope you understand, and I hope you get it. So I give it back to Ms. Winda Sihotang.
Okay, thank you, Miss Agustina Mulyati, for the answer. Well, I hope Miss Aulia satisfied with Miss Agustina's statement. But if anyone want to give information and ask again about Miss Agustina's statement, please click raise hand button. Anyone
Maybe
else?
wait, Miss
Okay, why,
Winda,
please?
I will add my statement before that for the question from the Miss Aulia, that maybe you can communicate with others, yeah, with others, like from the direct phone or the text message, and that doesn't need a network or internet connection, so you can make a line with that way. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss, for your additional information. But if anyone to give information and ask again, please click raise hand button. Anyone, please? Anyone?
Okay. Thanks you
Okay, Miss
to moderator. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Hilmi Saputri Nasution, original University, Universitas Muhammadiyah Tapanuli Selatan. One of the leadership strategies during a pandemic is to use emotional intelligence. One of the point of emotional intelligence, namely social skill. What can a leader do to realize the process of applying social skill in the organizational environment?
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Hilmi, for the question. Let me repeat the question from Miss Hilmi. The question is, one of the leadership strategies during pandemic is to use emotional intelligence. One of the point of emotional intelligence, namely social skills. What can a leader do to realize the process of applying social skills in the organizational environment? Is it clear for you, Miss Agustina?
Sorry, the question is the strategic in during a pandemic, so what does the
One of the point of emotional intelligence is namely social skills. So what can a leader do to realize the process of applying social skills in the organizational environment? Is it clear for you, Miss?
Okay, thank you. That's such a good question too from Miss Helmi. Well, how to use the social emotional when you are a leader. There are so many ways to increasing our social skills. Yeah, maybe you can first you have to behave like a social person. How to behave like a social person? You can behave like a more social creator even if you don't feel like it. Okay, so don't allow anxiety to hold you back. Make the decision to talk to new people and to enter into conversation even when you're feeling nervous about it. And then maybe you can start small if necessary. If going to a party maybe, or spending time in a crowd seems overwhelming, start small. Go into the grocery store and say thank you to the clerk, or go to a restaurant and order your food. Practice making small talk gradually. So just start from the small thing, yeah. And then ask open-ended question. Maybe if you want to attention of you in a conversation, get familiar with open-ended question, encourage others to talk, so you won't have to make the idle chit-chat. Ask questions that require more than yes or no answer, and you may open the door to invite the other person to keep the conversation going. And then maybe you can encourage others to talk about themselves. Have you ever used this way? Because most people really enjoy talking about themselves. just ask a question about the person's career, hobbies, or family, just so you're interested in hearing what is being said. Okay, the next way, maybe you can create goals for yourself. Because establish some small goals for yourself. Perhaps you want to practice one particular skill, or maybe you want to start attending a social activity in your community. And then generously compliments can be a great way to open the door to conversation. Just make a compliment, like over a co-worker, a compliment on a presentation he gave a meeting, or compliment your neighbor on his new car maybe, or his new hair maybe, or his or her new bag maybe. Just make a compliment. Oh, you're so beautiful, you're so sweet. Just make it. And read books about social skill. There are many books on the market, on the store book, that can help you learn specific social skill and ways to start conversation. And then practice good manners, because good manners go a long way in improving social skill. Practice being polite, showing gratitude, and using good table manners, of course. And pay attention to your body language, because the nonverbal communication is very important. Pay attention to the type of body language you use. Try to appear relaxed, make appropriate amounts of eye contact, and appear open to conversation. Just learn how to properly use your body language here. And then maybe you can join a social skills support group. There are so many community over social skills support groups. Support group help people who feel shy, awkward, or extremely anxious in social situation learn and practice new skills. You start improving social skills and may be able to make new friends who understand your difficulties. And then stay up to date on current events. Read up on current trends and news stories so you have something to talk about with people. Try to avoid anything that is too controversial, such as politics, but do talk about other news story that may be of interest. It can be a great way to start a conversation and can help you stick off natural subjects. And the last one, maybe you can identify and replace negative thoughts. If you have a lot of negative thoughts about your social interaction, it could become a self-fulfilling prophecy. For example, a person who thinks, oh, I'm really awkward and I will embrace myself, may sit in the corner at the party. As a result, he may leave the party thinking that he must be really awkward because no one talked to him. Identify negative that are likely dragging you down. Replace them with more realistic thoughts, such as I can make conversation and I can meet new people. So this is the way how to increasing our social skills that you have to own to, that you have to I think you have to do in your life. So that's my question, and that's my answer, and I give it back to the moderator, Miss Winda. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Miss Agustina, for your answer. I hope, Miss Hilmi, you're satisfied with Miss Agustina's statement. But if anyone wants to give information and ask again about Miss Agustina's statement, please click raise hand button. Anyone, please? Okay, Miss Ripka Hernita Situpu, please. Please click your mic, Miss.
Sorry. I suggest that a leader should also pay attention to the body language of his subordinates or followers for the information he conveyed. That's all. Thanks.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Rivka, for giving a good information to complete Ms. Agustina's statement. So, anyone else who have a question to Ms. Agustina? Anyone? I think there is no one answer, so I think it's enough for this session. Is it right? Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, we finally come to the end of part of this conference. But before I close this conference, I will take the conclusion from what Ms. Agustina has presented. The conclusion is, we are living in volatile, uncertain, and complex time. To embrace transformational leadership, leaders must articulate a compelling vision that is appealing and inspiring. This vision should remind followers of their purpose and collective mission while listening to organizations' members' perspective to solve problems. Leaders must simultaneously attend the individual needs of their followers and communities. The current pandemic places leaders in position to transform and build trust within their organization and teams. So, ladies and gentlemen, remember to lead by example. I would like thanks to the presenter for the informative and interesting presentation, and all of you, the participants, for the very active participations. I'm Winda Siotang as moderator. I'm sorry if there are my words that are not pleasing. Finally, give the applause for the presenter and for you all. Hopefully, thank you so much for joining this conference. Hopefully, this conference, the presentation will be beneficial for us. So, keep high and stay healthy, and see you.
See you.
Good
Thank
morning,
you.
everyone.
Good morning, everyone.
See you.
Thank you
Good
so
morning.
much.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.